So I was speaking to these young people about the experiences that I had as a young priest, meeting people from their generation, from Gen Z, who are returning to Christ or coming to Christ for the first time in ways that are really, really surprising to me and surprising to sociologists as well. There's all kinds of surveys that show surprising results in terms of the interest that this generation has in prayer, their belief in God, for example. They're searching for purpose in life and their openness to what the church has to say. So I started off by just sharing a few different stories of encounters I've had with young people, especially young men, who have started their journey usually online, and then they find their way to the church, and they're ready to go a bit deeper in their discipleship of Christ, and to read the scriptures and to practice prayer themselves personally and so on. So there's a surprising array of experiences that I've had, and these young people, they were telling me afterwards that it rings true in terms of their own experiences with their peers as well. So there are huge opportunities for the church in this respect in terms of the culture that Gen Z people are growing up in, and the ways in which they're, first of all, dissatisfied with modern secular orthodoxy. They find that not that it doesn't give them a sufficient framework in which to live and to live purposefully. And then many also are questioning some of the ideas associated with mainstream secular orthodoxy, and they question what the authorities in society are telling them, and they're willing to consider alternatives. So this is a great opportunity for the church then to propose the gospel as an alternative to what these people had been brought up with. There are risks associated with this as well, of course, because many of these young people then they're fundamentally unsure about authority, and so when they come into the life of the church, maybe they don't trust the authorities of their local bishop, of the Pope, and so on. So that can be a bit of a challenge. But also some of the mainstream secular ideas that these young people are rejecting, some of them are actually ideas that the church would regard as true and important. And so sometimes there needs to be a certain discernment when these young people approach the church, a discernment about what they believe and how what gaps might need to be filled in their own intellectual and spiritual formation. So I really have immense hope for this younger generation. It surprised me in all kinds of ways. As a priest, I kind of expected that there would be sort of general decline in interest and that you'd be dealing with a much, much, much smaller church. But what we find is all kinds of conversions happening and people becoming very convinced Christians and evangelizing their own peers. So this is something that is really, really striking to me, that my generation maybe of believers didn't necessarily do. We were a little bit shy maybe about reaching out to our peers. But this younger generation, they're very happy to share their faith with their peers, to invite them to church and so on. So it's something I see on campuses is Catholic community, Christian community booming in a way that would have been totally unpredictable 5-10 years ago. So I have great hope. The Holy Spirit is doing something new in this generation for sure.